Today we're talking on the Tribe Update about alignment. You know, a lot of people focus on trigger control at their homes. We want to give you some kind of like tangible takeaway that you could focus and drill at home without being on a live range. And alignment is one of the things that critically is not focused on, while trigger manipulation is always focused on. A lot of guys draw their pistols, they dry fire, and then they reset their gun. But what you have to understand is that in a gunfight, alignment, which is driving the gun to a target, you know, imagine where my eyes and the target is, in between that funnel of vision, I'm putting that weapon system to increase my chances of a shot. The definition of this alignment is, hey, you know, you don't have time to get to your front sights. I mean, a person's natural reaction time is about a quarter of a second. If a person's pointing a gun at you and you're behind the power curve, you don't have time to draw, get on the front sight, and pull the trigger. You have to trust your alignment, take a shot maybe from here, and then work your way to the front sights eventually. And so we're going to give you a couple techniques to work on to improve your capabilities on your own. One last thing I'll tell you is that, you know, when you're trying to determine your natural point of aim, which is alignment, you want to be able to present an index, a movement to the target, and build that consistent rep. And that's the start point, right? We're on a range, we shoot it, we determine our natural point of aim. If we're off to the left, we adjust to the right, vice versa, and then work multiple targets. And then Kurt will tell you about how to do it inside your own house.
Yeah, so a practical application, right, to a dry fire drill where we can do this, and this is something that I do, is I actually use an IPSC target with scoreable zones. Same thing you'd use at a range, right? It's got the A, C, and D zones. And then I've also used 1-inch pasties, and I'll talk to you real quickly about how to utilize those. So you could be standing at 5-10 meters, set that target up, and that's going to actually be your target that you're going to practice on in utilizing alignment. So again, like Mike described, basically you're driving the pistol, your natural point of aim or your natural alignment, right, based off of your hand and eye coordination, and you're just going to rep that just like you would, I don't know, you practicing trigger control in the house on the wall with a cleared empty gun, right? So we're going to do that with an actual target to practice doing it. And then you can also use 1-inch pasties. You can also use multiple targets to not only help you with alignment, but help you with transition, right? Because like Mike described, shooting is a hand-eye coordination game. And the faster you learn how to drive your gun and your eyes, right? The eyes lead and then the gun follows to the next target. The more you can do that, the more efficient you're actually going to be able to practice that on the range or in a real life scenario. So the intent is to do the dry fire, and then I actually validate by going to the range and actually applying the technique that I've been practicing, right? And so one thing, this is a pro tip with alignment to not forget, is based off of your distance to the target, what you can actually get away with in utilizing alignment, right? So if I back you up to 50 meters, you may not have the skill set to get a shot first round on target using alignment. You need to actually continue in alignment to the front sights, focus on front sights, and get an accurate shot on target.
Yep, when you're at home and you're sitting around, like even now, if you're in the office or whatever, you could do this by just using your pointy finger, right? I'm left eye dominant, so I'll point over, I'll identify a target with both eyes open, then I'll look at something else with my eyes, not necessarily move my head, but identify it with my eyes, and then drive my hand to that same spot. Now, if you take your hand and you put your finger up, you basically are creating a front sight post, and you look at it, you can go target focus, target focus, finger focus, and it should be overlaying the target. And so what you realize is that with basic eye-hand coordination, that if you trust the instinct to pull the trigger with alignment, you're naturally going to be on the target, right? A lot of people don't trust that natural instinct. And if you imagine, like when we're shooting, and I tell you to point shoot, but then I tell you 7, 8, 9, 10 fundamentals in between, it's hard for you to consciously focus on all those fundamentals, and then your shooting capabilities degrade. Well, in this, we're starting with the basic foundations of point shooting, which is taking a shot when I fully extend without front sight focus, and then working my way to the front sight to pick it up faster and faster. I think lastly, I'll tell you that what I've noticed in professional shooters and master tacticians is that the difference between an amateur and those guys is their ability to take a snapshot that they've repped many times on a target and then shorten the distance or in time between the time that they get alignment and the time that they identify their front sight. So they trust that instinct, they get there, and they might have a little confirmation time to be able to confirm that overlay of that sight on the target, and then they take the shot. So that's why you see IPSC shooters running up to targets and they shoot a string of fire, because they're just overlaying their hands and the gun on that target, and they know it's in that ballpark when they take that shot. And so the entire understanding of this is the reason you're doing that is because in a gunfight, especially when it's gun on gun, you don't have the time to wait to get to that front sight focus. In fact, the delay of the focus between the front sight and the actual target is slower than the actual somebody's actual reaction time. So I mean, you're looking at getting shot in the face before you can even think about transitioning your eye from target focus to front sight focus. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, replay the video. Figure it out. What we do is we teach this at a gunfighter pistol and gunfighter carbine courses in depth, and hopefully you took away something from this.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I like your shirt today.
Thank you.
Handsome.
Patagonia.
Handsome. Okay, till next time.
Stay alert.
Stay alive, guys.